How to speak English fluently. Learning to speak English fluently begins with creating a strong foundation. This starts with immersing yourself in English as much as possible. Surround yourself with English content like books, movies, and music. Listen to podcasts, watch TV shows, or read news articles in English. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more you familiarize yourself with its sounds, rhythms, and nuances. Over time, you'll begin to notice common phrases, expressions, and sentence structures, which will make it easier to start speaking yourself. Immersion is a powerful way to absorb language passively, making it feel more natural and intuitive. Setting clear goals is essential in your journey. Why do you want to learn English? Whether it's for work, travel, or socializing, understanding your reasons will guide your learning process. If your goal is professional, you might focus on business-related vocabulary and formal expressions. For travel, you may need practical phrases for directions, dining, and social interactions. Tailoring your study to your goals keeps you motivated and helps you learn vocabulary and expressions that you're more likely to use, making the learning process both efficient and relevant to your needs. Another crucial element is pronunciation. This aspect of language is often overlooked by learners, but clear pronunciation is key to being understood. Listen closely to how native speakers pronounce words and try to mimic their intonation, rhythm, and emphasis. Practice saying words out loud, paying attention to sounds that don't exist in your native language. Use resources like YouTube or language learning apps to guide you. Remember, you don't need to speak quickly. It's more important to speak clearly. Slowing down allows you to focus on accurate pronunciation, which builds a strong foundation for fluent speech. Don't let the fear of mistakes hold you back. Many language learners are afraid of speaking because they don't want to say something wrong. However, making mistakes is an essential part of learning. Every time you use English, you're gaining valuable experience, and each mistake is an opportunity to learn. Embrace your errors and don't be too hard on yourself. Over time, you'll find that speaking becomes easier, and the mistakes you once made start to disappear as you improve. Finally, make speaking a daily habit. Even if you can only dedicate a few minutes each day, consistent practice is more beneficial than studying for long hours once a week. Talk to yourself, read aloud, or record yourself speaking to track your progress. When you practice every day, English becomes a regular part of your routine, which makes it feel more natural. Over time, you'll notice improvements in both your confidence and fluency. Chapter 2. Building vocabulary. A strong vocabulary is essential for effective communication in any language, and English is no exception. Start by learning common phrases and words that are frequently used in everyday conversations. Focus on vocabulary related to your personal needs and goals. For example, if you're learning English for travel, you'll want to know phrases for asking for directions, ordering food, and booking accommodations. Start small with simple expressions and gradually build up to more complex phrases. Learning words in the context of sentences rather than in isolation helps you remember their meanings and applications. One effective way to build vocabulary is through repetition and review. Create flashcards or use language learning apps like Anki or Memrise, which use spaced repetition techniques to help you remember new words. Spaced repetition gradually increases the time between reviews of each word, helping to solidify it in your long-term memory. Set aside a few minutes each day to go over your vocabulary list. Over time, you'll notice that you remember words more easily, especially those you encounter frequently in your practice. Another effective strategy is to incorporate new words into your own sentences. Instead of simply memorizing definitions, try to use each word in different sentences or situations. This practice not only reinforces the word's meaning, but also helps you understand how to use it naturally in conversation. For instance, if you've learned the word delicious, try saying sentences like, "This cake is delicious," or "I had a delicious meal yesterday." By using words in context, you'll remember them more effectively and feel more comfortable using them in real conversations. Listening to native speakers is an excellent way to learn vocabulary in context. Watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English exposes you to natural language and helps you understand how words and phrases are used in real-life situations. Pay attention to the expressions and slang used by native speakers, especially if they relate to topics you're interested in. By observing how words are used in different scenarios, you'll build a practical, everyday vocabulary that goes beyond textbook definitions. Finally, review and revise your vocabulary regularly. Learning a word once doesn't guarantee you'll remember it later. Go back over your vocabulary list frequently, testing yourself to see which words you still remember and which need more practice. Regular revision is essential for transferring new vocabulary to long-term memory, making it easier to recall when you need it in conversation. Chapter 3. Practicing speaking with others. One of the most effective ways to improve your speaking skills is by practicing with others. Conversing with other people allows you to apply your vocabulary, test your pronunciation, and develop a sense of confidence in real-time communication. If possible, find a language partner or join a local language exchange group where you can practice with native speakers or other English learners. Speaking with others forces you to think quickly, respond spontaneously, and use the vocabulary you've learned in meaningful ways. Language exchange programs and apps are excellent resources for connecting with native speakers. Platforms like Tandem and HelloTalk connect language learners from around the world, giving you the opportunity to practice with native English speakers who may want to learn your language in return. This mutual exchange benefits both parties, allowing you to learn about each other's languages and cultures while improving your conversational skills in a low-pressure environment. If native speakers aren't available, practicing with other English learners is still highly beneficial. When you converse with fellow learners, you can share tips, discuss common challenges, and provide encouragement. Speaking in a supportive environment, even if it's with other non-native speakers, helps you build fluency and reduce anxiety. Additionally, practicing with others who are learning the language can lead to constructive feedback and a sense of camaraderie, making the learning process enjoyable. Choose topics that interest you to make conversations more engaging. When you talk about subjects you're passionate about, you're more likely to feel comfortable and confident. Hobbies, current events, or personal experiences are all good topics to explore. Speaking about topics you enjoy will keep the conversation flowing naturally and help you forget any fear of making mistakes, as your enthusiasm for the topic takes center stage. Listening during a conversation is as important as speaking. Pay attention to how your conversation partner responds, noting any words or phrases they use that are new to you. Being a good listener not only makes for a better conversation, but also allows you to learn by example, picking up on sentence structure, vocabulary, and intonation that you can incorporate into your own speech. Chapter 4. Thinking in English. Training yourself to think in English is a powerful way to improve fluency. Instead of translating words and phrases from your native language, practice labeling objects around you in English. This helps you make direct connections between things and their English names, which eliminates the need for translation and speeds up your thought process. By building these direct associations, English starts to feel more natural in your mind. Once you're comfortable with basic vocabulary, try forming complete sentences in English in your head. Describe your surroundings, plan your day, or narrate your actions as you go about your routine. For instance, as you wake up, think, I am going to have breakfast, or today, I need to buy groceries. Practicing simple thoughts in English each day helps you gradually become more comfortable with the language in a natural and fluid way. Another way to train yourself to think in English is by imagining conversations. Visualize yourself speaking with someone in English about a common topic, like your day or your hobbies. Think of questions someone might ask you, such as, what do you do in your free time? Then, mentally practice responding in English. This technique prepares you for real conversations, helping you anticipate and organize your responses without having to think in your native language first. Using English in your daily decision-making is another helpful step. For example, if you're choosing between two meals, think, I'll have the pasta, or I feel like having a salad today. Making these everyday choices in English creates a habit of mentally using the language. The more you practice thinking in English, the easier it becomes, making it second nature over time. Focus on expressing ideas rather than perfect grammar when you're thinking in English. Trying to form grammatically perfect sentences in your mind can slow you down and disrupt your flow of thought. Instead, aim to communicate the main idea, allowing your thoughts to flow naturally. This approach not only makes thinking in English easier, but also prepares you for real conversations, where clarity and expression are more important than strict grammatical accuracy. Chapter 5. Building confidence. Confidence plays a huge role in language learning, and speaking English fluently requires believing in yourself. Challenge yourself by seeking out opportunities to speak English in different situations, like ordering at a restaurant, asking for directions, or discussing a topic in a group. These situations allow you to apply what you've learned and reinforce your ability to communicate effectively, even if it feels intimidating at first. Positive self-talk is an effective strategy to build your confidence. Remind yourself that every conversation, no matter how small, is progress. Each time you speak, you're improving, and even if you struggle or make mistakes, you're learning valuable lessons. Celebrate your accomplishments, like successfully completing a conversation or correctly using a new word. These small victories add up, keeping you motivated and reinforcing the belief that you can speak English well. Constructive feedback is also crucial for growth. Instead of viewing corrections as criticism, see them as an opportunity to learn and improve. Whether it's a language partner, teacher, or friend, constructive feedback helps you recognize areas for improvement and focus on making those adjustments. Remember, language learning is a process, and every piece of feedback brings you closer to your goal of fluency. Recording yourself speaking can be a powerful tool for building confidence. By listening to recordings of yourself, you can objectively evaluate your pronunciation, clarity, and fluency. It also allows you to track your progress over time, hearing improvements as you become more fluent. Knowing you're making progress reinforces your confidence and reminds you that your efforts are paying off. Finally, enjoy the journey of learning English. Speaking a new language opens up a world of opportunities, connections, and experiences. Each conversation brings you closer to fluency and confidence. Embrace the challenges, stay patient, and trust in your progress. With time and practice, you'll become the confident English speaker you aspire to be. Chapter 6. Mastering Pronunciation. Mastering pronunciation is a crucial step in speaking English fluently. Pronunciation involves not only how individual sounds are made, but also the rhythm, stress, and intonation patterns that give English its characteristic melody. Start by identifying any sounds that are particularly challenging due to differences from your native language. For example, English has specific vowel sounds that may be unfamiliar, or consonants like th and think or this that are less common in other languages. Practicing these sounds can help you become more comfortable and ensure that you are understood clearly by native speakers. One effective way to improve pronunciation is to focus on mimicking native speakers. Listen carefully to native English speakers, whether through conversations, movies, or podcasts. Pay close attention to how they emphasize certain words and how their tone rises and falls. Try to imitate these patterns by repeating phrases out loud until you feel more comfortable. Using language learning apps that provide audio can also be beneficial. Apps like Speechling and Forvo offer pronunciation practice with recordings by native speakers, allowing you to compare your own pronunciation and refine it over time. Tongue twisters are a fun and effective exercise for improving pronunciation. These phrases like "she sells seashells by the seashore" or "Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers" are challenging even for native speakers, and practicing them helps with articulation and fluidity. By practicing tongue twisters, you can train your mouth muscles to produce sounds more quickly and accurately, which improves your overall pronunciation in a fun and engaging way. Recording yourself can also be a valuable technique for analyzing and improving pronunciation. When you record your voice, you have a chance to listen to yourself objectively. Compare your pronunciation to that of native speakers and notice areas where you may need improvement. By recording your progress, you can monitor how your pronunciation changes over time, providing motivation as you observe yourself getting closer to sounding like a native speaker. Finally, remember to practice intonation and stress. In English, emphasis is important for conveying meaning, as the same sentence can have different meanings based on stress patterns. Practice emphasizing different words and sentences to see how the meaning shifts. Over time, Focusing on rhythm, intonation, and stress will make your spoken English sound more natural and expressive. Chapter 7. Enhancing listening skills. Improving listening skills is essential for speaking fluently, as understanding others allows you to engage in meaningful conversations. Listening also helps you pick up new vocabulary, pronunciation, and sentence structures naturally. Start by listening to content that matches your skill level. If you're a beginner, short and simple dialogues are ideal, while intermediate or advanced learners might enjoy podcasts, news reports, or even audiobooks. Listening to English every day, even for a few minutes, strengthens your ability to comprehend spoken language and prepares you for real conversations. One effective method for improving listening is active listening, where you focus intently on the content and try to understand every word and phrase. Listen to a short clip and try to identify key points or repeat what you hear. Pause frequently, and if you don't understand a word, look it up. This method trains your ear to notice details and sharpens your comprehension skills, which is invaluable for following fast or complex conversations. Shadowing is another excellent technique to enhance listening skills. In shadowing, you listen to a sentence and repeat it immediately, mimicking the speaker's pronunciation and rhythm. Shadowing helps you improve listening, pronunciation, and fluency all at once, as you become accustomed to the natural flow of English. For example, you might choose a favorite TED Talk or a YouTube video and practice shadowing segments daily. This technique is challenging but highly effective for building listening and speaking skills simultaneously. Focusing on specific accents is useful if you're aiming to improve comprehension for a particular region, like American, British, or Australian English. Accents can vary significantly, with differences in pronunciation, vocabulary, and expressions. By listening to content from various English-speaking countries, you'll train your ear to understand diverse accents. Choose podcasts, movies, or shows from different regions to broaden your exposure, making it easier to understand English in various contexts. Lastly, develop a habit of watching content without subtitles. While subtitles can be helpful, relying on them can hinder your listening skills. Start by watching content with English subtitles, and once you feel comfortable, switch to no subtitles. This approach encourages you to rely solely on your listening abilities, training you to understand spoken English without visual aids. Chapter 8. Expanding Idioms and Phrasal Verbs Knowledge. Idioms and phrasal verbs are common in everyday English, especially in spoken language. Understanding them is essential to sounding more like a native speaker and being able to follow conversations naturally. Idioms are expressions that have a figurative meaning, such as break the ice or hit the nail on the head. Phrasal verbs are combinations of verbs with prepositions or adverbs, like give up, look after, or run into, and their meanings often differ from the individual words. Learning these expressions adds depth to your language skills and helps you communicate in a more dynamic way. A good strategy for learning idioms and phrasal verbs is to focus on a few each week and practice using them in sentences. For example, if you're learning take off, practice saying sentences like, the plane will take off at noon, or his career really took off after that project. Practicing in context solidifies the meaning and use of each phrase. You can also group idioms and phrasal verbs by theme, such as travel, emotions, or work, making them easier to remember and apply. Using visual aids, such as images or diagrams, can make learning idioms and phrasal verbs more engaging. Many idioms have vivid imagery behind them, which can help you remember their meanings. For instance, associating the idiom "spill the beans" with a picture of spilled beans can reinforce its meaning of revealing a secret. Similarly, watching videos where native speakers use idioms in context helps you see how they're used naturally, enhancing your understanding and retention. Listening to native English speakers is one of the best ways to learn idioms and phrasal verbs. Shows, podcasts, and movies often include these expressions in real-life conversations. When you hear one, take note and try to guess its meaning based on context. Writing down new expressions and reviewing them later also strengthens your understanding. Over time, you'll build a repertoire of idioms and phrasal verbs that make your speech more fluent and interesting. Finally, practice using idioms and phrasal verbs in conversations whenever possible. Don't worry about perfect usage at first. Practice helps you internalize them. As you become more comfortable, these expressions will naturally become a part of your spoken English, making you sound more fluent and culturally aware. Chapter 9. Using English in Real-Life Situations. One of the best ways to improve your speaking skills is by using English in real-life situations. Finding opportunities to speak English daily, such as when shopping, ordering food, or talking with friends, helps you apply what you've learned in practical scenarios. If you're traveling in an English-speaking country, use English to ask for directions, buy tickets, or chat with locals. Real-life practice makes learning engaging and allows you to gain confidence in your speaking ability. Creating a language diary can be an effective tool for practicing daily. Each day, write about your experiences, thoughts, or plans in English. This exercise forces you to think in English, expanding your vocabulary and allowing you to practice sentence structure. When you're ready, try reading your diary entries out loud to practice pronunciation and fluency, reinforcing what you've learned in a meaningful and personal way. Another strategy is to use English when socializing online. Participate in English-speaking forums, join English-speaking groups, or comment on social media in English. This online interaction helps you communicate with people worldwide, enhancing your conversational skills and exposing you to diverse perspectives. Online platforms like Reddit, Twitter, or Facebook groups provide safe spaces to practice and connect with others, making language learning fun and interactive. Engage with language communities like meetups or online study groups. Many cities have English-speaking clubs or language cafes where people gather to practice together. If in-person meetings aren't possible, join online conversation clubs where people meet over video chat to practice speaking. These communities are often supportive, allowing you to practice speaking without fear of judgment. Lastly, reflect on your experiences after each conversation. Think about what went well, what you struggled with, and any new words or phrases you encountered. This reflection process helps you learn from each experience and identify areas for improvement. Over time, These real-life experiences become valuable lessons that boost your fluency and confidence. Chapter 10. Developing a growth mindset. Learning a language is a long journey, and maintaining a positive mindset is essential to staying motivated. Developing a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can improve with effort, is key to overcoming challenges and setbacks. Understand that fluency doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Celebrating small achievements, like successfully completing a conversation, helps reinforce your progress and keeps you motivated. Focus on progress over perfection. Language learning is not about speaking flawlessly, but about communicating effectively. Set realistic, achievable goals, such as learning 10 new words each week or speaking with a language partner for 10 minutes a day. Small, consistent steps lead to steady progress and prevent burnout, making the learning process enjoyable and sustainable over the long term. Practice self-compassion during the learning process. Language learning involves inevitable mistakes and challenges, so be kind to yourself. Instead of feeling discouraged, view each mistake as a stepping stone toward improvement. Remind yourself of the progress you've made and trust that your hard work will lead to greater fluency over time. Seek inspiration from others who have successfully learned English or another language. Hearing stories of people who achieve fluency can motivate you to keep going. Join language learning communities online where people share their experiences, tips, and encouragement. Being part of a supportive community can make the journey less isolating and provide a source of inspiration. Finally, enjoy the journey. Language learning is about more than reaching fluency. It's about expanding your horizons, meeting new people, and opening doors to new experiences. Embrace the journey with curiosity and excitement, knowing that every word you learn brings you closer to a new world of opportunities. Chapter 11. Building cultural understanding. Fluency in a language isn't just about words. It's also about understanding the culture behind the language. Familiarizing yourself with cultural nuances, common social behaviors, and traditions in English-speaking countries can enhance your understanding of how the language is used in different contexts. For instance, learning about common greetings, polite expressions, and humor styles in English-speaking cultures can help you navigate conversations more naturally. This cultural awareness makes your interactions smoother and helps you connect on a deeper level with native speakers. Watching movies, TV shows, and documentaries can offer valuable insights into English-speaking cultures. Pay attention to how characters interact, what kinds of expressions they use, and even their body language. For example, in American culture, there's an emphasis on individualism and openness, often reflected in direct and friendly communication styles. Meanwhile, British culture may have a more reserved approach, with an emphasis on politeness and subtlety. Understanding these nuances can help you adjust your language use depending on the context. Traveling or connecting with English-speaking communities in your city is a fantastic way to immerse yourself in the culture. Experiencing traditions, celebrations, and social customs firsthand allows you to apply your language skills in real, meaningful interactions. By understanding why people communicate a certain way, You gain insight into idiomatic expressions and gestures that are otherwise challenging to grasp from books or classes alone. Studying the history and evolution of the English language can also enhance your understanding. Knowing the origins of certain words or expressions can make them easier to remember and use accurately. For instance, understanding that many English idioms and phrases are derived from historical events, literature, or mythology can provide context that enriches your language comprehension. Lastly, consider exploring humor and sarcasm, which are widely used in English-speaking cultures. Humor can be complex, as it often involves wordplay, irony, or references to cultural events. Watching stand-up comedy or sitcoms can be an enjoyable way to learn these subtleties. With practice, you'll gain confidence in using humor appropriately, which can add authenticity and ease to your conversations. Chapter 12. Practicing Situational English. One of the most effective ways to improve your speaking fluency is by practicing situational English, which means learning the language you need for specific real-life situations. For instance, you might focus on vocabulary and phrases used in restaurants, airports, or hospitals. By learning situational English, you prepare yourself for practical encounters, allowing you to communicate effectively and confidently in specific settings. Role-playing is an excellent technique for practicing situational English. Imagine different scenarios you might encounter, like checking into a hotel, attending a job interview, or shopping at a store. Practice these situations with a friend or language partner, or even speak out loud by yourself. Role-playing helps you anticipate the vocabulary and expressions you'll need, making you feel prepared and reducing anxiety in actual situations. Watching videos or tutorials focused on specific scenarios is another helpful approach. Many language learning platforms and YouTube channels offer videos that demonstrate common phrases and vocabulary used in particular contexts. For instance, watching a video on how to navigate a conversation with a doctor can teach you the medical terms and polite ways to discuss health issues, making these interactions easier when they arise. Reading and writing about situational contexts can deepen your understanding and retention. For example, if you want to learn language related to banking, read articles, blogs, or forums about banking terms and customer interactions. Take notes and practice writing sentences with new vocabulary. Writing out your responses can help you retain situational language and improve your comfort in speaking when the need arises. Lastly, consider learning the language of emergencies or sensitive situations, such as asking for help or reporting a problem. These situations can be stressful, so it's important to be prepared with the right language. Knowing how to ask for assistance clearly can be incredibly useful and give you peace of mind, especially when traveling or in unfamiliar environments. Chapter 13. Using Technology and Apps. In the digital age, there are countless tools and applications that can support your journey to English fluency. Language learning apps like Duolingo, Memrise, or Babbel offer structured courses and daily practice exercises that make learning fun and engaging. Many of these apps provide audio and visual support, quizzes, and even interactive games that help you learn vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. With technology at your fingertips, you can integrate language practice into your daily routine, making it easier to stay consistent. Utilizing voice recognition software like Google Assistant or Siri can help you practice pronunciation and phrasing. These tools respond based on how well they understand your spoken input, so practicing with them helps you identify areas to improve. Additionally, many language apps come with built-in voice recognition, allowing you to practice pronunciation and receive immediate feedback, which is valuable for refining your speaking skills. Connecting with language exchange platforms like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Speaky can provide invaluable conversational practice. These platforms connect you with native English speakers who are learning your language, allowing you to practice in real time through text, voice, or video. Not only do these exchanges improve fluency, but they also offer a unique opportunity to learn about other cultures and make international friends. Another useful technology is podcasts tailored to language learners. Many English learning podcasts focus on topics relevant to beginners and intermediate speakers, offering slow speech, clear enunciation, and explanations of complex phrases. Listening to podcasts while commuting or exercising makes it easy to immerse yourself in English. Additionally, you can try apps like Audible to access audiobooks in English, which can strengthen your listening skills and introduce you to new vocabulary. Lastly, use online resources to test and track your progress. Websites like Grammarly and Write and Improve provide writing feedback, helping you identify areas for improvement. Recording and analyzing your speaking progress through video or audio recordings can also help you track your improvement over time. With technology support, you can maintain momentum and monitor your progress effectively. Chapter 14. Practicing Public Speaking in English. Public speaking in English can be intimidating, but is a powerful way to enhance your fluency. Speaking in front of a group, even a small one, forces you to organize your thoughts, choose words carefully, and speak clearly, all of which contribute to improved fluency. Whether it's presenting to a study group, participating in debates, or joining a Toastmasters club, public speaking helps you build confidence and refine your speaking skills in English. Preparing for public speaking involves building a strong outline of your topic. Having a structure in mind helps you stay on track and ensures you cover the main points. Practice your speech multiple times, focusing on pronunciation and pacing. If you stumble over certain words, make note and practice them separately until you feel confident. This preparation not only reduces anxiety, but also familiarizes you with more advanced vocabulary and expressions. Engaging with your audience is an essential skill in public speaking. Make eye contact, smile, and vary your tone to keep your listeners engaged. Practicing these elements adds a level of professionalism to your speaking and makes your presentation more memorable. With practice, engaging your audience becomes more natural, and you'll find yourself speaking with more fluidity and enthusiasm. Recording yourself during practice sessions can provide valuable feedback. Watch or listen to the recording to identify areas for improvement, such as pacing, clarity, or filler words like or like. Over time, you'll gain a better sense of your strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to adjust your practice to improve continuously. Joining English-speaking groups focused on public speaking, such as Toastmasters or a debate club, can also be beneficial. These groups provide constructive feedback and create a supportive environment for practicing. Engaging in public speaking pushes you out of your comfort zone, building the confidence and fluency needed to express your ideas effectively in English. Chapter 15. Celebrating progress and setting new goals. As you progress in your journey to English fluency, celebrating your achievements is crucial for maintaining motivation. Take time to recognize milestones, such as successfully holding a conversation, completing a language course, or understanding an English movie without subtitles. These small victories remind you of how far you've come and reinforce the value of your efforts, keeping your motivation high for the next steps. Reflection is an essential part of celebrating progress. Take a moment each month to assess what you've learned and where you've improved. Reflect on any difficulties and consider how you overcame them. Writing these reflections in a language journal not only tracks your progress, but also helps you identify effective learning strategies to continue using. Setting new goals keeps you moving forward and prevents stagnation. After achieving initial goals, like reaching a certain level of vocabulary or comprehension, challenge yourself with higher objectives. For instance, aim to read a novel in English, engage in a complex debate, or even deliver a short presentation. Setting these ambitious goals pushes you to reach new levels of fluency and fosters continuous growth. Reward yourself when you reach your goals, whether by treating yourself to a favorite activity, taking a short break, or even setting up a celebration with friends. These rewards reinforce the positive aspects of learning and give you something to look forward to as you progress. Celebrating every achievement, big or small, makes the language learning journey more enjoyable and fulfilling. Finally, remember that language learning is a lifelong journey. Fluency is not a final destination, but a skill that grows with consistent practice and curiosity. Stay open to new learning opportunities, whether through meeting new people, reading challenging material, or exploring English-speaking cultures. Each step forward brings you closer to becoming the confident English speaker you aspire to be.